Hey guys, it's Wayne, one of the editors over here at CGM, and today I'm going to be talking about how we should probably not have such a rosy outlook about the current generation of consoles. It's a weird situation that we're finding ourselves in. Right now, from the perspective of a gamer, it is a good time to be in games. You know, it's like we've got these new consoles. There are a lot of interesting new games that are coming out. You know, it's like we've got Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, we've got South Park, we've got things like Watch Dogs and, you know, Infamous on the horizon. You know, Titanfall is about to lumber on the scene. So superficially, it seems like this is a great time, but that's only from the perspective of the consumer. Now, if you look at the business end, there's a little bit more cause for concern, because if you are actually one of the console manufacturers, things are not that great. And like it or not, the changing fortunes of the actual console manufacturers themselves are going to change inevitably how this console generation is going to play out. So let's go after the most obvious guy. Nintendo. Oh, Nintendo, what can you say about these guys? You know, it's like they came in strong with the Wii, and now with the Wii U, despite the fact that they were out a year earlier than all of the other next-gen consoles, which are now current-gen, they really haven't made that huge impact in sales that something like the Xbox 360, which was the first one out, you know, it's like they really raked in the console sales. The Wii U, not so much. It's actually already trailing behind the Xbox One and the PS4, which is, you know, crazy for a console that was out a full year ahead. So clearly Nintendo is in a lot of trouble, and they need to do something to turn around the fortunes of the Wii U. What that is, nobody knows, but they've got a lot of options and they're backed into a corner. So now is the time for Nintendo to shine. You know, it's like you really don't want to count these guys out. Never ever count out Nintendo. Now, Microsoft, on the other hand, they are in a really interesting position. It's like they're overall second place in terms of sales for next generation consoles, but the interesting thing for them now is they've got a new head of the Xbox division, a man by the name of Stephen Elop, who actually used to be the CEO for Nokia, but now he's been brought into Microsoft. Now, it's kind of interesting because at the time when people were still trying to figure out who was going to be the successor to the Microsoft CEO, Steve Ballmer, Elop was actually one of the contenders, and he was musing that what he would like to do if he were the CEO is get rid of the divisions within Microsoft that were taken away from the focus of the company. And he felt that things like the Xbox division were one of those departments that you could afford to cut away. Now, this is the guy that's actually in charge of the Xbox division, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. Then finally, we've got Sony. They're probably in the most peculiar position of all. PlayStation 4 is doing great. Those guys are number one. The PlayStation division is probably the most profitable division of the entire company, and that's the problem, is that the rest of the company is not doing so great. So they've been forced to do things like separate their television division into a completely different subsidiary, completely abandon the computer division. The VAIO computer line is now a thing of the past. So really, it's only the entertainment and the video game divisions that are keeping them afloat, which means that the video game division is now shouldering a much bigger burden, which is probably going to have an effect on the rest of the company. Now, whether that's going to be for good or bad with the PlayStation division, that's something that only time will tell. But it's pretty clear that when you actually look at the financial positions of these various companies, you know, the executives that are in charge, how they're performing in the market, it's not as cut and dried as they're doing great or they're doing bad. It's still anybody's game at this point in the console wars, and it's going to be really interesting and a little nerve-biting to see how things play out in the future. I hope nobody tanks, but stranger things have happened. So good luck, guys. It's going to be an interesting console war. See ya.